but I want to take y'all back where it all started for me.
Let me tell you about my city, a little town where I'm from, where everybody's southern raised, just as good as they come. Backwoods and Macioke and mud holes, and back then we only ate what the farm grow. Man, I miss some days how we played on them dirt roads, and out of towners came with respect, cause they know we all close. Yeah, southern pride, toting gun folks. Welcome to my city, I-75 South, just north of Live Oak.
I'm from a city called Lowndes, Georgia, right on the border of Florida. I was raised on these dirt roads, mud tires spin. Backwoods when they ride, this is small town living, yeah. Now welcome to my city, title town, 229, turn it up so they can hear it loud. We eddy up with big trucks and Hemis, Yeezys, pretty girls get moonshine and whiskey.
It's nothing like our dirt roads, you can bet that, son. I'm from a city, by any means we gon' protect our guns. I hang with the rednecks and yee-yees. We get up in big trucks in the backwoods like Indians and teepees. This the home of the mighty, mighty Vikings, Wildcats, Blazers, Title Town license winners, pretty girls with country grammar. When I say about Austin, Georgia, I ain't talking about Atlanta. This a different type of city, where the woods are pretty, but get gritty, you hear me? What you know about that 229? You can find us on the Florida, Georgia line, where I reside.
I'm from a city called Austin, Georgia, right on the border of Florida. I was raised on these dirt roads, mud tires spin. Backwoods when they ride, this is small town living, yeah. Now welcome to my city, title town, 229, turn it up so they can hear it loud. We eddy up with big trucks and Hemis, Yeezys, pretty girls get moonshine and whiskey.
Lowndes County.
How about now? Can you hear me now? How about now? See, Larry, we can't hear you. How about now? I think it should be fixed now. I think. Let's see. Man, how embarrassing is this?
Well, how about now? Okay, that's much better. Now, should I confess and tell you guys what happened? Listen, I think as soon as I mention this, the hecklers are going to come out. Listen, the last 24, 48 hours has been awfully traumatic because, it's the anniversary of 9/11, always a very emotional day, coupled with what had happened on the national scene yesterday. Very traumatic. So y'all just have to show me a little bit of grace. Okay. So that's what I ask. All right. So I've lost some people because of those. So what had happened was this. So when the countdown came on, the sound was blaring and it was picking up my mic. And so I pressed the mute button, not on my mixer board, but on the computer software that I used. And so when I came back and the countdown timer was wrapping up, so I made sure the mute button was not on my mixer board, but I forgot to turn it off on the software. So that's what happened. I told you, I'm probably the most transparent guy that you will ever meet in your life. You want to know what's on my mind? You want to know what's happening behind the scenes? I'll tell you within reason. All right. So, well, let me go ahead and start over. Listen, it's Thursday night. Well, forget it. You guys get the point. We get the preliminaries all out of the way. Welcome to the Viking Nation Live. I'm your host, Larry Godwin. I forgot to put my name on the screen. I forgot to do everything tonight. But we're still going to have a great show, and we're still going to have a great time. So with that said, let me bring on my partner in crime who's having a much better day than I am. That's super fun, aren't you? Hey.
Well, LG, what's up, man?
Where are you at?
I'm stuck at work.
Oh, I see. That's why you got the virtual background going there.
Oh, yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. Okay, so Chase, we got a lot to talk about tonight because we had a big game last week. I mean, Lowndes played a lot better than I think what most people were expecting, right?
Oh,
That was your initial assessment last week, right?
Oh, absolutely. I was beyond impressed.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Beyond impressed. Man, look, from start to finish, they played a complete game.
Mm-hmm.
Hats off to the coaching staff. Being without Jace the last few weeks, having to revamp the offense and everything else, they were amazing. During the time that they didn't have Jace, being able to be creative in how they moved the football, defense playing lights out. But then to come into this week, Jace being back, a lot of hype behind that. Great atmosphere at the Concrete Palace. But being able to get him settled in early, get him comfortable, because, coming back from an injury, it can really mess you up.
That's
can
right.
have you questioning things. Did I do this right? Did I do that right? But being able to get him some plays that he was comfortable with early on, great play calling by Coach Reese.
Yeah.
Making him some easy short throws, getting the ball out of his hand quick, easy handoffs, easy reads. The offensive line being there to support him.
That's right.
The offensive line, man, blocking all night. Pretty much kept Jace clean at times. In the run game, they were just moving guys out of the way from Mason Woods.
Right.
And having a running back like Mason Woods in the backfield with you if you're Jace is just I don't know. It's like Jakari having Chase Belcher. I mean, that's the only thing I can relate it to be honest with you. But the one thing that I will say that impressed me the most about his return, number one, his leadership on the field, his poise. The moment seems to never be too low or never be too high for that guy.
That's right.
He is the heart and soul of that team. I think they believe in him 1,000%. I think his players around him believe in him 1,000% from the offense and the defense. I will say this: his play action handoffs, man, they had guys confused all night.
Deadly.
His ability to pull it out last second was almost, and I know, I'm a Florida State guy, but it kind of reminded me of Chris Winkie back in the day. His ability to sell a play. I mean, show me somebody sell a play action better than Chris.
Jake Fromm.
No, not even
what?
Not
Come
even close.
on, man.
Not even
David
close.
Green.
No,
I know you're not a Georgia dog, but David Green was the absolute best at play action pass.
Go back and watch the Chris Winkie bomb. All backed up against his own goal line. Dude ran a play action, held it in his belly, and walked away from the line.
All right, let's get back to something you and both I can agree on. Okay, and that's our Lowndes Vikings. we would be at it for 3 hours if we started talking about this player versus that player when it comes to FSU and Georgia.
I will say this, since Hal Armand's not here with us yet. Man, that defensive team speed, Larry, is unreal.
Man,
I will tell you this: if you come in to play the Vikings, do not. I might have to stand up and say this. Do not try to run sideline to sideline with these boys.
No.
Because they will hunt you down.
Chase, you and I, one of the cool things that we get to do being on the sideline, other than taking pictures and doing video, that kind of stuff, is in the dead time between plays, that kind of stuff. Sometimes we get to visit with other people down there, and Friday night was no exception. And so you and I had a chance to chat with the Manatee sideline guys, their AV photography guys, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And they were saying the same thing. It's like, man, that team speed on that defense side of the ball is just unreal for Lowndes. Just unreal.
Yeah, Billy, I think you call him Billy D.
That's right. That's right.
Amazing guy. Great photography skills. He was blown away by how fast our team speed was, because he said, watching it on film, you kind of get an idea of it. But man, when you see it in real time, it is unreal. How fast these guys can get sideline to sideline.
Yeah, so we'll get into more about our improving defense a little bit later on the show. Let me go ahead and turn our attention to some of the things that's happening around the state before we come back and talk about some of the stats from last week's game. So something that I wanted to point out was, where does Lowndes stand in the latest weekly rankings? Okay, so here's the latest composite ranking, guys. Through week 5, or actually this is week 5 here. Through 4 weeks of play, Grayson's at the top of the charts at number 140, followed by Buford, Carrollton, Douglas County, McEachern, North Gwinnett. Lowndes has moved up a spot to number 7. Valdosta now has slid back behind Lowndes at number 8. Colquitt County, Camden, Collin Hill, Walton, and Hillgrove round out the composite ranking for Class 6A. Any comments on that, Chase?
I don't see. Now, I will say this. I don't know much about Douglas County. I don't. Not even going to act like I do. But you've got a very good Lowndes and a very, very good Valdosta team behind a 3-1 Douglas County. I think Lowndes and Valdosta is probably, if you were compiling it based upon the body of work, I probably would say Lowndes and Valdosta probably has a better body of work than Douglas County. So I think Douglas County should probably be back around 7th.
Yeah.
And bump Valdosta and Lowndes up. Colquitt's about where I think they should be. I don't really think Colquitt's as good as everybody thinks they are.
Oh yeah.
I really don't, man. I know they got that high-powered running back, but man, I don't know. The guys that I've talked to that have seen Colquitt County play, they said our team speed will be the difference maker when we play Colquitt County on the defensive side of the ball.
We're going to get our chance in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
that's for sure, to show everybody that Lowndes is back and we're ready to overtake Colquitt, to be the man. And Colquitt has been the man for the last number of years. And so to be the man, you got to beat the man, right? So we're going to get our chance there in the Concrete Palace on the night of September 26th. So joining us is the beard himself.
The professor.
The professor. What is wrong with my camera, man?
I don't know.
There we go.
There we go.
What's going on?
All right. So what's up, man? Did you close the deal?
Yeah. It was close.
You must be talking to the finance guy or something like this. Like, wrap this up for me.
No, yeah, it's done. My part's done. So
okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Paperwork and get this guy rolling. So yeah,
I got you.
It's done.
All right. So, guys, we are talking about. I like this view better. So we're talking about Armand. We're talking about the rankings, and I'm about to flip the chart here and talk about the results of last week and who the rest of the region plays tomorrow night. Camden County is 4-0. Listen, just about everybody in the region is got a shot. Look at these records. Camden is 4-0. They beat Gene Ribault out of Florida 56-13. Lowndes, of course, beats Manatee pretty bad. Now, listen, I was doing. Let me say this real fast. I had the opportunity and the honor to interview the head coach for the number 2 team in the nation, St. John Bosco Braves, this past week. 2 nights ago. Guy named Jason Negro. Fantastic guy. So the host, my other co-host, Joe Mamone, he pointed out on the show that, Lowndes and St. John Bosco has something in common this year. We both beat up Manatee pretty bad.
Yeah.
Lowndes was up 42-0 at the half. St. John Bosco, the number 2 team in the nation, they were up on Manatee at the half as well, but that score was 31-0. So guys, maybe, and Coach Negro pointed this out to me. He says, Larry, maybe Lowndes is better than a lot of your fans are giving them credit for. He pointed that out to me.
Yeah, I think like last week showed that we got a full when the cupboard's full, right?
Yeah.
Offensively, Lowndes is a juggernaut. We're a juggernaut, and I know you let them borrow the Hydra offense. And your co-host wasn't some kind of executive, sales executive at Marvel, but the Hydra offense is Lowndes. I gave it to him first. But when the offense is there and they're full, Lowndes is unstoppable. We have a dominant running game, and then once you add that passing element to it, it's like, bam, like Khalil Williams, that was the name we hadn't called all year.
Yeah.
Bam, 2 touchdowns, right? Just like that. So once Jason's back, Jason looks sharp, and I also just wanted to just give you kudos because that was a great interview, Larry. I really enjoyed it.
Appreciate it, man.
As I was running around running my errands, I'm just listening to it. I'm like, wow. Next thing I know, like 40 minutes was going just like that, and it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that guy is fun to listen to, isn't he?
Yeah.
Very knowledgeable.
Chase actually sent in a couple of questions for me to ask him. And so I asked him one of the questions. Chase, I don't know if you remember what the question was, but I asked him, what kind of advice would he give to players that are trying to get more attention from recruiters and that kind of stuff? And he gave a very interesting and complete answer.
He did.
He didn't back down at all. He says, one, and he was addressing parents of players as well. He says, one, you've got to be patient.
Yeah.
You've got to be patient. He says, I see it in my program. I talk to other coaches who sees it in their program. He says, when someone comes into steps on the football field as a freshman, they and their parents expect them to play right away.
Yeah.
But he said if they will just be patient, don't just be patient for patient's sake, but be patient and productive. So that second part, productive, he was talking about, use that time when you're not starting, when you're not getting play time, to develop your skills, to get better. So when your time comes, you're ready, right? And the last thing he said, okay, so be patient, be productive, get prepared for your time. And then the last thing was, you got to get very savvy at social media nowadays.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't rely on coaches to do that for you. You and your family have to get very savvy at social media, and that's the formula that he tells all his players and parents.
Yeah, and I tell kids all the time when they say, "How do I get noticed? How do I get noticed?" First off, be that guy on the field. When you get your chance and you get a chance to put something on film, be that guy. Be the one that they say, "Hey, wait, who's number 19? Who's number 75?" Make them say, "Who is that guy?" And then, like you said, trust the process. It just reminds me of a conversation I had with Coach Miller, my sophomore year. He was telling me, "Hey, Armand, you gotta get these social reps, these mental reps. You gotta get them. Because I switched from corner to receiver that year, and he was like, "You gotta get these reps. You gotta, even though you're not in there. What are you seeing? What are you seeing?" And he would tell me, and he would ask me, "All right, what did he do wrong? Right? What did you see?" And I would tell the players the same thing. When you're in practice and you're not on the field, be looking. Be there. Say, okay, this is my position. This is what I got. Oh, this guard did this, or the linebacker dropped here when we ran this play. So you know exactly what to expect, and just to be prepared when you get.
That's
there.
right.
So I will say this, Coach Negro was very insightful when he was pretty much to wrap it all up. He was saying, trust the process. And I would tell if any parents out there, if you got some young Vikings on this team, trust the process. Trust the process. They might not start as a freshman, might not get any run as a sophomore, but by the time they're a junior, senior, and they got some trust, they built that trust, they're going to be prepared once they get out on the field. And I think that's what one thing Coach Carter is doing, is making sure that these guys are prepared. Because if you look at year one, we looked at the defense that almost didn't seem like they didn't know what they were doing. Last year, the defense got better. This year, the defense is giving up, one touchdown all year? 2? Maybe?
Not very many.
Not very many.
Not very many.
And they are there. They're making plays. They're in the right position. And even though they're still young, they're playing. And this is what Coach Negro echoed as well. He said that by the time they get to where they can start, they understand what they're doing. They know what they're doing, and they're able to play fast. And them being able to play fast is more important than any scheme that you can have. So I really enjoyed that interview. And Larry, great job. Great job.
I appreciate it, man. Listen, if you guys are interested in watching that interview, as well as others, because Joe and I, we interview a lot of coaches, and these guys ask me, why don't you ever tell anybody? It's like, well, maybe I should. Maybe I should. So I'll start telling you guys about it. I'll start posting links on the Viking Nation, so you guys can check out those, because there is still there, even though we don't play St. John by, there's still a lot to learn. If you're a true football fan, even if you're a player or a parent of a player, there's still always something to learn from these premier coaches nationwide. Yeah. Okay. So these are the teams that got through playing. Lowndes defeats Manatee. Valdosta defeats a very good Jesuit Florida team. And they've got South Gwinnett next week. That should not be a very tough game. Lowndes has a pretty good quality opponent tomorrow night in the Kell Longhorns. Richmond Hill defeats New Hampstead. They're going to be at Wayne County over in Jessup. Now, to me, guys, the surprise of the region are the Tift County Blue Devils. They're 3-1. They defeated Bainbridge 49-20, a pretty good Bainbridge team. They're going to be at Houston County at Freedom Field up in Houston County. So if they go up there and beat Houston, then you can say that Tift County is back. because they are going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I'm just talking and doing a filibuster because I just don't want to hear Armand say, "I told you so."
Because I told you so. Right there. I told you so. I said, man, look out for Tiffany. Like, and I never call them Tiffany County. Look out for Tiffany, right? Look out for them Blue Devils. It's right up the road on I.
That's right.
Because from what I saw last year, right? What I saw last year was a team that was so much improved. And what that tells me that's a team that's bought into their coach, right?
Yeah.
And they're learning. And Tiff County has players. There's talent in Tiff County. It's just that over the years, they couldn't cultivate that talent. But
That's
now
right.
they got a coach up there that's doing the work, and he's got this team. This does not look like the same Tiff County from 2-3 years ago, right? This team looks like they're prepared and they're ready to play, and they're gonna give everybody fits. And
That's right.
I told you. Just remember, I told you so.
We called it last year, did we
Yeah.
not? We
Yeah.
we all went to the Tifton game. All right, we all went to Tifton, watched Tiff County play Lowndes, and I told Larry, if you remember, I told you after that game, Tiff County was 3 plays away, 3 plays away from putting Lowndes on their heels quickly.
Yeah, it was a close game last year. A lot closer than the score let on.
Yes, that score was not indicative of how close that game really, really was. Now, hats off to Coach Carter and his staff last year during that game, helping his players keep their composure, stay the course, stay the game plan, because that's what got them through. Now, as far as Tiff County is concerned, I believe Jeff Littleton is an amazing coach. I believe he's a great coach. I believe his biggest asset is, like Armand said, he got the players to buy in. He got the players to buy in by getting the community to buy in. He got the community excited about Tiff County Blue Devil football again. He got the media buzzing around Tiff County Blue Devil football again. And the rest will take care of itself. Because let's be honest, these kids nowadays, all across the country, doesn't matter what high school you go to, these kids want some kind of social media buzz around their football program. They do. They want the clicks, they want the likes, they want the whatever. All right. Now, I'm not a big Coach Prime fan. Everybody knows I'm not a big Coach Prime fan. But I will say this about Coach Prime. If you're playing for clicks, you don't need to play here.
Yeah.
That needs to be the selling point. Now, Adam Carter has done a great, amazing job. I talked to a player's parent who I'm friends with last night. We had a long conversation last night. We went over a few things, talked about some things. And the one thing that he said to me that really stuck out to me, LG, was his player was here when Grades was here. Okay. His player was a freshman when Grades was here. He said over the course of this season and last season, he said the amount of buy-in and the change he's seen in his son because of Adam Carter getting them to buy into what he was wanting to do, buying into the program.
Yeah.
Selling out to the program, so to speak. He has seen a dramatic shift in his son. Even though his son's not a starter, he has seen a dramatic shift in his son. His son doesn't, he wants to go to practice, wants to improve, wants to show what he's got every chance, every opportunity he gets. And I think there's something to be said for Coach Carter and his staff because of that. It's the same thing, the transitions that we talk about with all great programs. We talked about it at length last year with TCC. Now we're talking about it with TIF. We talked about it with Coach Carter. I think Sean Calhoun's done the same thing at Colquitt County. It's all across. You see it, especially like Don Bosco. They've got to buy into what their coaching staff and what their program is all about. If they don't, it don't work. Period. I don't care. You could have 41 5-stars on the team. It's not going to matter. If the kids don't buy in at the end of the day, if they're not sold out to the program and what you're teaching inside of that program, it ain't going to matter. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Jody Hewitt says something interesting right there. He says, I can tell you, I've seen more varsity coaches at middle school games than I've ever seen in 6 years of coaching. The buy-in is real all the way down to 6th grade.
I started noticing that. I started really paying attention to that, Jody, last year. Watching varsity coaches come out, especially when Lowndes was playing against Hayhire, or Hayhire was playing against Pine Grove, or vice versa. I started noticing that these varsity coaches were showing up. Now, granted, sometimes they wasn't showing up till after kickoff because they didn't want nobody to know that was there, but they would show up and they would watch. They would talk to a few people here and there, trying to find out who this player was or who that player was or whatever. But yes, they have started showing up. Now, Coach Carter has started showing up to other sporting events at middle schools, basketball games, whatever else, which, you know, you start showing your face around other athletics going on in middle school, people take notice.
They do. And that, you know, I'll touch base on this part because I think Adam is close to implementing what you guys have heard me say many, many times, my 4 pillars, right?
Yeah.
You got to have the administrative buy-in. We certainly have that at Lowndes. You got to have good coaching, not just the head coaching position, but the assistant coaching position as well. We've got that at Lowndes. You've got to have good athletes. You don't have to have super athletes, but you got to have good athletes that are coachable, right? So you got 3 out of the 4. The final pillar, he is starting to get better at by attending middle school games, going to other sporting events. Now I would just encourage him to step outside of the Lowndes campus and involve the whole community and get the whole community to buy into his program. And when he does that, you'll see a noticeable shift in this Lowndes fan base. And you talk about a moonshot for the Lowndes program, because what does that do? It gets resources, not just, I mean, we got good resources now, but I'm talking about money starts to pour in to that program when you engage the entire community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those
100%.
Those sponsorships come in, and you said something really important. The assistant coaches, right? A lot of times we look at the head coach, and that's kind of the only figurehead that most people think about. But it's the assistant coaches, because I can tell you right now, even though you hear me talk about Mill all the time, but Coach Randy Hill, Coach Ed Parker, I just saw Coach Cribb about 2-3 weeks ago. Like, these are quote unquote father figures that I had. Coach Hiram Johnson, Coach William Dave. Like, these are coaches that I will remember forever, because I spent more time with them than I spent with the head coach. So when you are able to get a good staff and keep a good staff together, oh my, it pays so many dividends. You can't that is an asset that you can't put a price on. And
that is so difficult to do nowadays, Armand, because you see a lot of younger coaches, they have aspirations and ambitions too, and you don't want to get in the way of that. But if you have an assistant coach that wants to put roots down into the community, man, like you're saying, you want to do everything you can to keep that staff as continuous. Is that right? Is that a good word? Continuity as possible. Yeah.
Yeah,
because I agree. I agree with everything Armand just said. Armand, I couldn't agree more. These kids spend a ton of time with these assistant coaches, position coaches, coordinators. They spend a ton of time with their position groups. And those guys can have a major impact, a lot more than a head coach can.
That's right.
On these players' development throughout their high school career. You know, and I think I was talking to a Valdosta guy today, a Valdosta insider, and he was talking about the same thing. We were talking about the rollover in staff at Valdosta. And he was saying, you know, he said it's hard to keep really, really great coaches as assistant coaches or as position coaches. He said, because you think about it like this: who is a coordinator or a position coach is not, as a position coach, you're not going to turn down an opportunity to go be a coordinator at another school.
Nope.
You're not, and as a coordinator, you're not going to turn down an opportunity to go be a head coach. Even if it's a couple of states away, you're not going to turn that down.
And
Listen, man.
you know, it has to be a great, you know, like when I remember I talked to Coach Tone, Jason Tone, right? And I asked him, like, when you're thinking about job openings, he's like, I said, what do you think of first? He's like, it's the fit. It's like I have to feel, you know, somewhat, it has to remind me of home, of what I grew up in. And he's like, he'll tell you, he said, it's hard to replicate what Lowndes County in this area does, because he
That's
went
right.
to county and he said it was nothing like I thought it would be. At Camden County, it was like that for him, but now he's up there in, at TL Hanna.
Yeah.
I went up there a few years ago to watch him play, and yeah, it reminds you of Wernersville.
Listen, this is a great discussion that we're having, but you know, we got a heckler that is trying to rain on our, let me restate this. He's trying to rain on my parade, guys. I'm going to put his comment on the screen just to kind of call him out. David Behringer, he says, man, LG has got to be using that touch of gray.
I think LG got great genetics. Me and Armand, we got all the gray, man.
How about this? How about this, Dave? For Halloween, me and Chase will use a touch of gray.
Oh no, see,
I love it.
See, I earned every bit of mine. I earned every bit.
Listen. My wife would, yeah, she would disown me. Back with a full, you know. Yeah, if I got rid of this right here, this salt and pepper.
See, I mean, we earned every bit of that, man. Come on now.
Like, no, I earned this.
Yes.
Yes. Jody Hewitt says, by the way, Hayhire 8th grade defeats Valdosta 34-14. 7th grade makes a clean sweep today by beating Valdosta 36-0 yesterday.
Wow.
Man,
That's
how about
big.
them Vikings? Vikings?
That's big.
All right, so guys,
By the way, while we're on the subject of somebody other than varsity, hey, Lowndes' 9th grade team defeated Colquitt County at the Palace 20-14.
3 claps. I love it. We might start doing. We're innovating this year, guys. You know, the Hydra offense, the IHOP twins, 3 claps. And I love it. We just keep coming up with new stuff all the time. All right, so we talked about the schedules for Region 1. So one of the things that I wanted to put up on the screen is keep an eye, like I said, on Region 8. Buford still leads the way. As you guys recall by now, we're going to meet up with Region 8 in the first round of the playoffs. So Buford is leading. Decula, they are kind of surprising at 2-1. Collins Hill, I thought Collins Hill and Mill Creek would be battling for that number 2 spot, but maybe we got to keep an eye on Decula. You never know. So that's how Region 8 is doing. Not very many big games to expect out of Region 8, other than the top of the ticket. Buford takes on Douglas County. And Douglas County, I think from that composite score is like either the number 3 or number 4 team in the state right now.
Yeah, I think Douglas County beat Cal, if I'm not. Am I right? Am I wrong in that? Let me look at this.
Yeah, just look it up real fast. And while you're looking that up, I wanted to bring up something else. Let's see here. Where is it? Oh, I know. Guys, the playoff situation may be changing dramatically. Did we lose Chase?
Maybe.
I think we just got disconnected there. And it kind of blew me up there, too. I don't know what the heck is going on there.
All of a sudden, I got thrown into the back. All of a sudden, I got thrown into the back room like I was in punishment jail again. I didn't say anything about burying this time, Larry. Come on.
Oh, my gosh. All right, it just reset for me.
Okay.
So
I figured it out. Okay, so Douglas County beat North Gwinnett, who beat Colquitt. That's what it was. That's why I'm thinking. I just saw that, but no, they didn't. They didn't play. Who was I talking? Cal. They didn't play Cal.
Man, this software is just going crazy. It keeps disconnecting us. Taking me off the screen, taking Chase off the screen.
It don't like us.
So So anyway,
It don't
Armand,
like
what
us
were you
today,
saying about
LG.
Kale?
It just don't. Man, we've
Kel
thrown too many
did
shows
not
at it.
lose. They did not lose to Douglas County.
Okay.
No. Douglas County lost to North Gwinnett. North Gwinnett beat Colquitt. Because I was just kind of looking at the schedules and seeing see if we have any common opponents, and that's what it was.
Gotcha.
So a little mistaken, but we're good to go. Kel, on the other hand, I was just kind of looking at, their schedule and their roster. They don't really have any too much information as far as roster wise, but they did lose to Sequoia, as TB pointed out. So yeah, but back to the playoffs.
Yeah. So guys, can you see that on the screen or no?
No,
let me try to make that. Okay. So I'm just going to make it full screen. I think people can still hear us. So guys, if you can see this on the screen, this is what's being talked about at the state level right now. Okay. Not anything to affect this season, but the GHSA is looking to revamp the playoffs across the board next year. Right now, if I asked Armand and Chase, how do you make the playoffs in our region?
Finish in the top 4.
You got to be in the top 4, right? You're seated in the top 4. You make the playoffs. Now,
yeah,
it's going to be very similar going forward, right? So it's going to be the top 4 teams, that kind of stuff. But they're reformatting it entirely different. Okay. They haven't voted on this, but it looks like it's almost a done deal. They're going to present this to the executive committee. This is the reclassification committee that is being, that's doing all this. By the way, Danny Redshaw is on that committee. So Danny knows all about this. So what they're looking at doing is starting next year, not this upcoming playoff season, but next year, they're looking at introducing a postseason ranking to seed all the teams 1 through 32. Right now we have 8 regions, right? 4 teams from each region goes to the playoffs. And what that means is you have a total of 32 teams in Class 6A that make the playoffs. But right now, as it stands, right, the top 4 teams are seeded, and then all the number 1 seeds host the number 4 seed. But so that's the system they're looking at doing away with. To replace it, what they're looking at doing is taking those same 32 teams and ranking them 1 through 32 for the playoffs. So the natural question then is, well, how did they come up with the ranking? That's what they're discussing now. They call it a postseason ranking, or a PSR, if you will. And there's actually a formula. They actually posted the formula, but I think they may have taken it down because I don't see it anywhere on the on their website now. So I'm pretty certain they've taken it down, guys. Let me go ahead and bring you guys back on the screen.
Now, Larry, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
If this goes to a power ranking.
Yeah.
Okay. How would that change the way that Lowndes books their regular season non-region games?
Yeah, man, fantastic question. Okay, so here's what it looks like. Let's see. Yeah, they've taken the entire formula down, it looks like. Because so there might have been too many people talking about it. But I can give you kind of the gist of what I remember from reading it last night. And so they're taking a look at awarding you points based on your winning percentage. As a matter of fact, I actually wrote down the formula. Here it is right here. Hold on a second. Let me pull this up. Okay, so here's the formula. Winning percentage times 0.35. And so why 0.35? So there's basically 3 components to this formula, and they broke it out. 2 of them are given 0.35%, and the other one is 0.30. Okay. So the first one is winning percentage, your winning percentage, right? Times, winning percentage times 0.35. So for example, if you won 7 out of 10 games, your winning percentage is what? 70% times 0.35. Okay. So then you take that and you add it to your opposition's winning percentage times 0.35. So let's say Kell, we're playing Kell for tomorrow night. So it would be important for who they played. Okay. That your opponent's winning percentage. Okay. So if we play, Sisters of the Poor out of Macon or something like that, and they're 0-10, their winning percentage would be 0. Right.
Yeah. I think that's gonna, okay. So
that should strengthen your non-region schedule by default.
Yeah, here's what I'm going to propose, and I'm going to throw.
Hold on. There's one more component. And this is probably going to be the most controversial. Your opponent's winning percentage. So it not only matters who you play, but it matters who your opponents play.
Yeah.
So, and that's almost a third of the weight of the formula.
Yeah. So here's what I'm going to propose, and Lowndes can just they can take it for what it's worth. It's just one man's opinion. I think what Lowndes should do is I think this is an opportunity for us to do what we've always talked about doing.
That's right.
And that is making ourselves into a national powerhouse.
Yeah. Okay.
I think, and I'll even reference your interview, Larry.
Oh, I know what you're going to say. You're going to cite Creekside High School.
No, I'm going to cite something from your interview that the coach from Bosco said.
Okay.
He said, "Don't be afraid to go play these larger teams. Don't be afraid to lose."
Why did he say that?
Well, because he was talking, because I think the question was something along the lines of going to play out-of-state opponents, going to play these big-time schools. Like you said, to be the man, you got to beat the man. All right. But if we go
the two schools that we talked about specifically, Manatee, they're getting beaten up by Lowndes, by Bosco, but they're not afraid. They know that it's going to improve their program. Same thing with Creekside. They went out to Mater Dei a couple of years ago, got their brains beat out. They went out to DeSoto, Texas last year, got embarrassed. You know what? By year 3, DeSoto came to Creekside this year, and Creekside laid it on them.
That's kind of where I'm going with it. You got to step out there. If I was Lowndes, and there again, I have no decision-making ability at Lowndes. None of us do. But if I was making Lowndes' schedule for the next couple of years, I would put Grayson on the schedule. I'd put Milton on the schedule. I would try to go get maybe an Aquinas, a DeSoto team, maybe even invite Bosco to come play. Get some of these big fish to come down here and play, or go play in their place. I think it'd be great exposure for the kids.
I certainly
agree. Great
with
exposure for the program. Huh?
I certainly agree with you. Now, with the new playoff formula, it is important to win. It is, no doubt. You do have to win to raise your postseason ranking. Okay. Yeah. But your opponent's winning percentage. Your opponent's winning percentage is important as well. And so there is a balance. You can't just play 5 cupcakes. So you have to have a good balance in there, right?
Yeah. I would say do 2 big non-region games. And I'm not talking about and I don't mean this like he's going to sound, but I'm not talking about the Kells of the world or the Manatees of the world. Go find some bigger fish.
Yeah.
Go find some, go to like a Milton, go to a DeSoto, I ain't saying go try to battle Mater Dei. I'm not saying that at all.
Listen, you know what I'm noticing? The professor is always lurking. And when the professor is quiet, he's usually thinking or writing, and he is about to reveal his thoughts.
Oh,
What you
yeah.
got, Professor?
What you got?
So sometimes people don't leave well enough alone, right? So when it comes to all this, this opponents, and all this stuff, I know the big brains at the GHSA think it's brilliant, but it's actually
That's stupid. Yes.
the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I'm glad you actually said what that word is, because only dyslexic people could read it.
Oh, it was backwards. I don't know how.
Hey, I can read backwards. It's all good.
I don't know how to make it.
We get the gist, man. We get the gist.
Yeah.
I told you guys this is the funnest football show in America.
Listen, the GH, it's simple. Play your region. If you're one of the top 4 teams in the region, you get in the playoffs. Why are we making up?
Well, it's still going to be the same. They're just talking about reseeding it. Do you know why they're doing this? I can tell you why they're doing this.
Please.
They're trying to prevent a top 5 team from playing another top 5 team in the second round.
Why? It happens.
It happens. It happens, but you're rewarding. I'm just presenting the argument, okay? Because you're rewarding a potentially an awful team by allowing them to advance farther in the playoffs when they don't really deserve it. That's why.
So this is what I propose, and it's real simple. Take your top rated seed, your number 1 seeds, right? Take them, put them in a hat, shake them up, and then place them, right?
Yeah.
And then do the same thing with the 2, the 3, and the 4, and keep going all the way around. And then guess what? It's random. It doesn't feel like some crazy formula that we got to do all this extra math to figure out who's playing who. Make it simple. Kiss it. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what I mean. Like,
well, I can tell you now what they're looking at doing, because right now, in years past, including this year, by week 10, you got a pretty good idea of where your team is going to be in the first round of the playoffs, right? You might have, like last year, we had to wait for game 10 to be over with, but shortly after that, you had a pretty good idea. But now when the season ends, we have to wait on, if they pass this formula, I should say, we have to wait basically until designated reveal show. I think this, mark my words, I think this is what they're planning on doing, some type of ESPN like reveal.
Yeah, this is for clicks. I'm guessing.
I can sum this up for you.
And I don't blame them. I actually like that idea.
I can relate this if y'all want me to.
Okay, tell me.
Look at the NCAA college basketball.
Yeah,
it's basically the same thing. Yeah. They're going to seed them. They're going to seed them based on where they play versus where it's going to be walky. So you're going to have 4 number 1 seeds, same way you always would. You're going to have a number 1 seed up here, 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 and then it's going to fall into place below that. All right. So eventually, what they're hoping to accomplish is by the Elite 8, you've got most of your top teams are still in it. Now,
pretty much.
What I think this is going to open up. What I think this is going to open up is something Larry brought up. I think it was last year, LG, maybe the year before. All right. I think this is going to force the GHSA to do an open division is what I believe you called it, LG.
Listen, that is where this is headed. Yeah. I'm convinced of it because there is so much hand-wringing about recruiting and top-tier teams, and we're trying to massage the reclassification cycle every couple of years to keep everybody happy because of all these transfers. To me, the solution is so obvious as the nose on our face. Create an open division and let any team that opts to go in the open division, let them recruit. Let them open it up the floodgates. When you declare yourself as an open division school, you can let them recruit. And let the recruits play against the recruits and leave the rest of high school football to the rest of us.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And I will say this. Now, when you create that open division, okay, if you want to see what South Georgia football can really do,
yeah,
I know this is going to make some people mad. Don't really care. Know this is going to make both sides of this county and the city mad. Don't really care.
Uh-oh.
If you want South Georgia football to dominate whatever division they hop in, let Lowndes and Valdosta decide they're going to combine school systems.
Oh, man, I don't know if you'll ever get that.
No.
Let Lowndes and Valdosta.
Now you're talking crazy.
It's Hatfield and McCoy. It ain't going to never happen.
It's coming. Valdosta is going to have to, Lowndes and Valdosta are going to have to get past their hatred for each other and decide that the accomplishments of these players and the stake of South Georgia football is bigger than a crosstown rivalry.
But see, Chase, I can make the argument as to why we shouldn't do it.
Give me one.
Tradition. I love the hate. The people here love the hate. We love to hate each other for one night, for 1 night a year. I'm on the
but we can hate North Georgia at the same time,
and we do. But the thing of it is that keep it. I'm a traditionalist. I'm a traditionalist to the core. I truly believe our region should still be Lowndes, Valdosta, Moultrie, Tifton, Ware County, and Bainbridge and Coffee. I really believe that should be our region, right? I get it. They don't have the population, but I still believe that should be our region. I believe that was the toughest region ever in Georgia. But I don't like recruiting. I just don't like it. Like I believe like kids it takes away from the kids, right? From that experience of, hey, I'm coming up through the school system and this is my team. This is who I root for. This is who I want to play for. Listen, I got a nephew right now. The only thing he's been wanting to do is suit up on a Friday night, right? And but it takes away from that, right? And that's why, like, if you're gonna move to the county, then move to the county.
Yeah,
that's cool. But when you're openly recruiting, nah, I can't. I don't like it. And
can I give you the flip side?
Give me 1 second. Let me get this off. And TB is saying it's time to grow and start back winning championships. Yeah, it is, and we will if we can keep. I believe we got enough homegrown talent here in Valdosta, Georgia, and Lowndes County, Georgia, to win the national championship. National championship and the state championship. I believe it. Just everything has to fall in place.
Chase, I think the professor has been drinking something at work.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the flip side of that.
It's Kool-Aid.
I'm gonna give you the flip side of that. I like your argument. I do 1,000%. 15, 20 years ago, I would have 1,000% said, yeah, you're right on the money. 1,000%. Problem is, these kids today don't see it like that. A majority of them. Now, there are the select few here and there, scattered in, whatever. All right. But when you see, and I'm going to say this, you take it for what it's worth. When you see long-time Wildcat families that are now have their kids over here at Lowndes, they don't care about tradition, man.
Yeah.
They don't.
Well,
because you ain't gonna tell me you got 2 or 3 generations worth of Wildcats, and all of a sudden now your next generation is putting on a Lowndes uniform. That goes out the window.
Well, that has more to do so with the.
I think tradition got lost along the way somewhere. Your traditions would still stand. Your traditions, the running down the hill at Martin Stadium, the beating on the tin roof at Valdosta, you could combine those. Build a juggernaut of a stadium on the other side of 75.
So here's why you can't do it, Chase. Even if the school system's combined, right? The population that we have here still requires at least both high schools to remain open.
Mhm.
And if
Okay.
you have both high schools remain open, you're going to have 2 football teams because you're not going to shut down a football program. The
with you.
population won't let you do it. There's
I'm
no
with you.
way.
But
So-
keep going because you're a fan of what I'm about to say.
So I think what would happen if the school system, we're talking major hypothetical, if the school systems were to combine, I promise you would have a 3rd high school built within a couple of years.
Okay. But you're
Yeah.
a big fan of what I'm about to say.
Yeah. So
That's where
if that
school
were the case, let's just play this scenario out. Let's say the school systems combine. Then a 3rd high school gets built. You have 3 football programs. I think what the community should do then is designate one of the high schools as the central high school, right? Where you still can remain in the largest classification of football, stack your players there however you decide to move the population
choice.
district.
School
So
choice.
that's right. Make the other 2 high schools, make one of them a 4A program and then the other one a 2A program. So those 2 high schools could have some natural rivals in this area as well. And they could compete for state championships. But so you would have a 1 7A program, 1 4A, and 1 2A program. That's how you do it.
And I'm all for that idea.
And then Chase to talk. So and this is what a lot of people don't realize. The demographics of Valdosta has changed, right? To where the more desirable real estate is in the county, right? There is not much prime real estate within the city limits of Valdosta, which is why the county has tripled over the last 20 years as far as population goes, right? When I was like in from the 80s to now, right? So
I have some, but I'll let you continue, but I wanted to interrupt you just to throw this out there. I have some insight on that, some insider knowledge that might be changing if some of the city planners get their way. And I'll tell you what I mean in a second.
okay.
Yeah, they're going to expand the city limits again.
But like I said, the demographics of the city has changed and the county's changed, and so that's why Lowndes, who didn't start playing football for about 50 years after Valdosta played, over the last 20, I'd say 30 years, Lowndes has been a winning program, right? And they've won state championships. They pretty much dominated this crosstown rivalry, primarily off of that notion. And you still have some people who move to the county, but they'll pay that fee for their kids to go and wear their black and gold. And so that's kind of what gets missed a lot when you talk about tradition and whether or not where the kids are going to go to school at. Now, when it comes to combining schools and all of that stuff, I don't think that'll happen for one main reason and one word, and that's pride. You got people who will not give up their seat at the table because they want it, and you got some people who just say, "Nope, I'm not working with the county. I'm not working with the city." They just won't do it, and it's all about pride. So until another generation takes over, and if their ideas and philosophy change, then you might see that. But as of right now, the next 10 years, I can't see that happening.
And I want to say this to every person that you're talking about, that their pride and whatever else. Okay. You look back from the start of mankind until now. Pride has been the fall of every great regime, every great man of power, every great civilization. It has been their pride that has been their downfall. So, to all you old heads sitting at that decision-making table, you might want to put your pride to the side and figure out how dominant you want South Georgia football to really be.
Well, listen, you guys have been watching another episode of South Georgia football.
I guess we got to take 10 minutes. How much time we got left?
We are out of time.
It's been a great debate, though.
Yeah, it has a very, very good discussion. So we're going overtime tonight. You guys are getting bonus coverage tonight. So because we do need to talk about the Kell Longhorns, right?
Yeah.
So they're currently 3-1.
Yeah,
So very good football team.
Got a homegrown kid from South Georgia up there playing for Kell.
Yeah.
Is that right? Who's that?
Yep. The Colin Fox's little brother.
Okay. So they are currently 3-1. They're no, listen, they got a pretty good defense, guys. In their first 4 games, they've scored 44, 37, 37, and 42. No, I'm sorry. Let me take that back. In their loss, they did not score 37, but in their 3 wins, they scored 44, 37, and 42. That's pretty good. That's pretty good offensive production, right? So they have the ability to score. So will our defense grow from last week's outstanding performance and get even better tomorrow night and shut down these Longhorns?
I think so. I think last week catapulted was a jolt of energy. These kids came out on fire.
They sure did, man.
Came out on fire, hitting on all cylinders from the first play to until Stars didn't play the second half.
Yeah.
And so they came out on fire, man. I mean, I was sitting there watching Eisenhower and Jorge and Markel Fultz put people on their back. I mean, when you talk about pancakes, waffles, crepes, it was all there, right?
How about Malik Reddick?
Malik, good.
He has been. He's putting together an outstanding season.
Man, look, I told him after the game, I said, just keep doing what you're doing, big guy. Just keep doing what you're doing. Proud of you.
Yeah, he's becoming an absolute wrecking crew.
And he's playing that, oh man, what's my guy's name? Huntley from last year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Montel
Huntley.
Montel, and we were wondering who was going to replace him, right? Who was going to fill his shoes? And Malik is filling those shoes, and he's been dominant these last 2 games, almost unblockable in certain situations. So, man, this defense is it's coming. It is getting put together, and I think you're gonna see another dominant performance. I really think.
And I'll tell you, man, one of the guys that I am most impressed with, he's kind of undersized for the position that he's playing, but he's not playing like an undersized kid. At 6 foot 217, that's a pretty good sized kid. But to play a bookend on your defensive line, I mean, you got to play with big heart, and that's Garrick Harris, number 26.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
motor.
that dude gets out after every single play.
Great motor.
And we also got another one, short guy. Oh man, what's his name? He comes in. He's in the rotational defensive line. Real short, might be about 210, 215. So what? I can't hear you.
Number 99?
I think so.
That's Johnny Huntley.
Dude comes in. I'm like, look at this guy. Right? He comes in and man, like our defense is coming together. I know it's but they're coming together, man.
I could be wrong, but I think the linebackers playing a pivotal role in what this defensive line has been able to do. They're constantly moving, constantly shifting. They're causing offensive lines and quarterbacks to be confused constantly. And I think that's a testament to that Adam Carter defense, that 3-3 stack and the exotic things they're able to do out of it. We saw a bunch of shifting around last week, linebackers constantly moving up until the snap of the ball. And that'll drive a QB absolutely nuts because you can't figure, I mean, you don't know who's coming, who's not.
Pre-snap reads all off.
It'll throw everything off, man. You're trying to read a pre-snap read, and all of a sudden, as soon as you go, it's like the Alabama Crimson Tide defense from a few years ago when Saban and Kirby was together. That defense was constantly, they show you one thing, as soon as the ball snapped, it's something completely different.
Man, I'm telling you, it's kind of cool to see, right pre-snap, right before the ball. You see Kamen Upshaw sneaking up on that line. All of a sudden, he becomes a fourth defensive lineman, and you know what's coming. He is screaming around that edge. And he was so successful against Manatee the other night doing that.
He was sneaky about that now. He's slow creeping. But what made it so hard to read is he would sneak up, and then occasionally at the last second, he's backpedaling out and in coverage. So it's hard to get a bead on whether or not is he coming, is he not coming. Then they lose track of him because he's been backpedaling, he's been coverage. Now all of a sudden he's coming and you can't pick it up fast enough.
Yeah. And also as an offensive tackle, you're thinking, do I step out? Do I help with this guy? What do I do?
Yeah, I mean it's driving offenses nuts, which I think is what that 3-3 stack is designed to do, anyways.
Yeah.
I think it's designed to put quarterbacks in an uncomfortable position, make them change, make them check up, things like that. Now, I've been really impressed with the defense so far this year. Really, really impressed. I don't know about Armand; he's our defensive guy, but I've been thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, man, they coming and they when you see them run towards the ball, they're coming with ill intent, with nasty intent. And they're coming to lay the wood. And then even on the back end, we see our defensive backs, they gotten better. We've gotten an interception the last 3 games. I think, every game we forced a turnover. So and we haven't had many turnovers. So when you win the turnover battle and you play stout defense and you got a offense that's been productive as ours, whether it's by ground or by air, it's a recipe for victory. So if you want to know my prediction for this week's game, Lowndes.
Here it is.
50. Lowndes by 50.
Oh man,
What are we gonna do with this guy?
I love it. I'll give you.
We're gonna have our hands full tomorrow night. So Kel is almost a balanced team on offense. They lean towards the rush. They've got 1,008 yards rushing on the season, but followed closely by 700 yards of passing. Lowndes by 5?
50.
50.
50.
Gotta write it backwards.
I can't write backwards. I'm sorry.
Lowndes by 50. I get you. I was just kidding around.
All right, over.
Okay,
under.
so our defensive front's going to have another good test tomorrow night. I don't think Kel is as talented as Manatee, so I think we're going to handle him pretty well. But early on, because of emotion, I think Kel is going to come out determined to run the ball. But like Chase was talking about earlier, if they try to run wide, they're dead. We'll beat them like a rented mule all night long if they try to do that.
Yeah.
We're gonna beat you. We're gonna beat you like you stole somebody's Xbox.
Yeah,
I love it.
Our team speed is amazing on defense. And it's just a testament. And then the thing is that we're able to play good complementary football. I mean, the offense, if we have to slow it down, the offense has the ability, to slow it down. And if we need to speed up the tempo, the offense can do that. And our special teams has been great. We had the one mishap against TCC. But for the most part, kickoff coverage has been there, and the punt team coverage has been there, and I think we're gonna be all right, man. I think all 3 phases of the game, Lowndes is improving, and that's why I'm so confidently saying.
That's right. So let's end it on this comment by Jody Hewitt. How about this? LG, give me the Lowndes ground and pound for $2.50 and the Juice Mel game for $2.50. Vikes by 50.
I'll take the over on the ground game, and I'll take the over on the passing game.
Okay, you think Lowndes is going to have an outstanding night of offensive football?
Oh yeah. The way Jace is producing and the way that ground game is, man, it's that. Listen, I don't know where Mason Woods came from. Actually, yeah, I do, but that's a story for another time. But Mason Woods is one of the premier running backs
He's a dude.
in the state right now.
He is a dude.
I promise you, he is a dude. Yeah. Now,
you know who he reminds me of as a runner? Warwick Dunn.
Yeah.
Florida State guy.
I was thinking more Cam Akers, more what was the guy? Devontae Freeman.
Okay, I can see that. All right.
I was thinking more Devontae Freeman because he's really balanced, man. He starts getting bounced around. He can stay on his feet and keep moving. And that was Devontae. He was kind of like a bowling ball in there. He bounced around. Once he gets in the open field, he gone.
That's right.
Peace out. Right. Street lights coming on. Mama said I got to be home.
But I get like while Larry says, Warwick Dunn, 2.8 man. in the Garden.
Warwick Dunn was a problem.
Dude was a problem. Wasn't very big, but fast, balanced, ran with power, could do everything you want in the back, and he's a complete back. And so Mason, like Coach Carter even said it, and Jody just said it, you put in the work. And that's why we saw him at the beginning of the season in that that preseason interview. And Mason, and it's showing. It's showing. Now, this is what I'm going to tell you guys. And if these Vikings are watching this program, stay clean. And what I'm saying is that Kel is going to do everything they can to draw you in, to try to get you ejected. Just walk away, point at the scoreboard. And
that's what Kirby says.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what they did last week. Last week, Manatee, if y'all noticed, Manatee after halftime come out trying to talk crap right off kickoff, man. Just was over there talking to the players on the sidelines, just straight jawing at them. And I think it was either Jace or Malik Reddick. One of the two was standing right there, and they literally just pointed at the scoreboard.
Yeah.
That's how you handle your business on a football field.
And
that's it.
We got two big ones. We got two big scoreboards.
Pick one, either end.
Yep. And it's so elegant when it's Lowndes by 50.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Listen,
guys, we're going to wrap it up for tonight. But tomorrow night, catch us on the post-game show. Right after the game, immediately after the game, we give you about a 10-minute summary of our thoughts, fresh after that win that we're going to have tomorrow night. I'm just going to call it tonight. So Armand's got Lowndes by 50. Chase, you got Lowndes by how much?
I'm gonna say 35. I don't think they're gonna beat them by 50. I think Kel actually probably scores once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
I just think it's going to become they're not going to score on our starters. I think they'll score in the second half after we go get the freshman team to suit up.
I think it's Lowndes 35-14.
Okay.
42-14.
I'll take it.
50-0.
50-0. I love it. That's your score all year round. I'm expecting. All right.
Now,
so,
if Lowndes defense pitches a shutout, that's all to them.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Zena Robinson says, you talk about playing tougher teams to be better. Put senior night back to the last home game. Stop moving that game to play an easy team. It's football.
So senior night was never the last for years because the Lowndes Valdosta game has always been the last game of the year. Senior night was never the last game of the year until we started playing Valdosta at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
So it'll never be the last game as long as we're in the
listen, I always cut the administration slack when it comes to scheduling which nights are which, because it's tough. It really is, because you got so many special events that you have to recognize nowadays. So that is tough, right? Jody Hewitt says, no way, LG, 52-6. So he doesn't like my 35-14 prediction.
Jody,
I don't think it's gonna be that low.
Resend your prediction and make it 56-6. So Lowndes will be by 50. Come on, you got to buy.
Yeah, what's the deal with keeping the 4 points off, man?
I know he's sandbagging on me. Let's go.
I think Kel's varsity will score 7, and I think Kel's young kids that eventually get to go in will score 7. That's where I get the 14 from.
I get you. I'm talking to Jody, though.
I get it. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. I'm getting hungry, so I got to go. So, hey, listen, on behalf of Armand Chase, I'm Larry Godwin. You guys have been watching another great episode of the Viking Nation Live. We'll catch you guys tomorrow night at Martin's Stadium, also known as the Concrete Palace. May God bless every single one of you. And as always, go Vikings.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Love it.
Hit the like. Down, that's